Hello everyone and welcome to episode 10 of FTB Infinity Evolved Skyblock with me, Reliikgaming. So in the last episode we were basically setting up our storage systems. We were having a bit of a nightmare with it because it was just duplicating stuff everywhere where there was empty barrels. Well, in between episodes I've taken the time to sort it all into order. So we've got gravel outputs, we've got sand outputs, we've got dust outputs, and yeah, it's all looking pretty good. There's a couple of slots that are doubled up here because I've saved those because there's actually a couple of sand outputs that I haven't got yet, and that's mainly because I haven't really been sifting sand because I've not needed anything from there. In fact, the only thing that I've used so far is this electrotine, but we'll correct that as we go along. And yeah, that's all linked up at the back. It's all working nicely. And the other main thing that I've done is this monstrosity just here. So in an attempt to get this so that it auto sifts through the dust as well, I've made a bunch more of the hammerers and the compressors and another sieve, and sort of attempted to wire this all up. Now, this is a right mess at the moment, and it will be corrected, but it works. Anyway, the issue that I had last episode, where I didn't really know what sort of power output that I was making, still not been able to do anything about that. Now, as I sort of looked in the comments from last episode, there was a couple of people sort of noting that obviously need to do something about that, and yes I do. And one person kindly forwarded the information that I could use the capacitor bank from Ender.io. I can indeed use that because once you attach that to one of these sources, so say for example I could attach it to well, I'm guessing the kinetic dynamos, but maybe I could put sort of another block down here that's gathering the power and then attach it to there. The input side can show you how much actual power is going in. The only trouble is that the capacitor bank, if you just nip over to the crafting grid, uses just an obscene amount of things that I haven't got access to at the moment. So let's just get that typed in. Capacitor, yeah, there we go. Capacitor bank should be the first one. No, it's not. Right, there we go. So yeah, we've got a bit of iron, a bit of redstone, fine. Then these basic capacitors are where the problem lays, because we need 4 of those, and each one requires 2 redstone chipsets, which, to be fair, that's just time. Then there's these lapis tubes. Again, that's just time and power, something that we're sort of, well, certainly the power is something that we haven't really got a lot of. But then this is where it all falls apart, because this singulum requires the mixture of silver, molten copper, and then destabilized redstone. Well, we haven't got the means of making destabilized redstone yet, and the machines that can make the destabilized redstone, again, it just feels like it's quite a way ahead anyway. So I am going to make do with the tried and tested method of, if it all breaks and it looks like we haven't got enough power, I'll bung up another couple of water wheels or a windmill or something. And very, very soon we're going to be moving on to some different power anyway. So I've kind of been looking at the next level up on the hobbyist steam engine. So sorry, they're not called the hobbyist steam engine. Let's just type in steam engine. And yeah, the commercial steam engine. So it produces double the amount of power, and it's not actually that expensive. So I've got a few iron gears, a piston, and an iron chipset, which is all sort of easy peasy now. But then it requires these refined circuit boards, and that's going to be made in the Carpenter using the redstone and some iron. And it so happens that we are going to have to make one of those this episode anyway. So those next level of steam engines could well be something that we start looking at in the next episode, and that'll certainly give us another form of power that we can use, and it's a fairly decent output as well. So yeah, 40 RF per tick could help us out quite nicely. So that brings us nicely up to what are we going to do today. And what I really want to get is some of the beginning thermal expansion machines, and notably the pulverizer. So if we just go in and have a look at the pulverizer, so it's here. We require a piston, some flint, copper gears, redstone reception core, which is just a bit of redstone, and some gold. And then we need the machine frame. Now, the machine frame is made in the assembly table out of all of these bits and pieces here. So we need a tin gear, we need some dense refined iron plate. That's actually just hammered out steel, so that's not a problem. A basic circuit board, which is going to be made in the Carpenter, as we've just found out. And then we're also, just waiting until that gets back to the basic again. Come on, there we go, right. And we're also going to need this crushed obsidian. And crushed obsidian is made in the rock crusher. Yeah, it's the only place that it can be made. So we already know that in order to get to the pulverizer, that we're going to need 2 new machines. Now, the rock crusher looks relatively easy to make. I've never made one before, so I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we can certainly make it. So it's a 3 by 2 by 2 formation, so we're going to need 12 of the blocks, and each one of these makes 4 blocks, so we basically need to make 3 lots of this. The most expensive thing in here is going to be the diamonds, so we are basically going to need 12 diamonds. No, we're not. We're going to need, yes, we are. We're going to need 12 diamonds. Then we're going to need 12 of these pistons and 3 blocks of steel. Well, I lobbed a load of iron into the blast furnace earlier, so I've got the seal waiting in there ready, and I've been sort of using this as a bit of an AFK item. So I've just left Skyblock logged in. So hopefully we've got a good amount of diamonds in here. We have 17 diamonds over there, so that more than covers what we need. And I'm kind of guessing that this is going to require a bit of redstone. Of course it is. I don't know why I need to guess that, to be honest. Right, so we need some wood, some cobble, some iron, which we've got all of that apart from the cobble at the moment. In fact, we're going to need some more wood as well. So let's just, before we even start putting recipes in and then having to take them out, like I normally do, let's just chop this tree down, because we are going to need 12, I think that is, bits of wood. And we'll just work that out from the beginning. Let's just pop the sapling down again, and then we'll go and grab one of these trees from over here. I really do want to grab these other trees down as well, because they've been there for a while now. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to make the Tinker's Construct lumber axe in order to get that. And just in case you don't know what that is, it's an item that you can use that kind of chops everything down in one go where the wood's connected. So these big trees, it should make light work of those. But I haven't got time to do that right now, because we need to get on with this. And I've already waffled quite a lot, as I normally do. And therefore we're starting to run a bit out of time already. Well, we're not running out of time, but time is running down. We need 4 pistons for each one of these, so that's 7 of them. And as expected, it was wood that we ran out of. It looks as though we're going to have to start tackling some of these trees a little bit before I was expecting to. Okay, I am going to go off camera for a minute and cut these down. And you don't have to see me chopping down these massive trees. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've collected up a load of wood, and as you can see I can make another 9 of these if I wanted, but we only need 5. So let's just grab all of that back out of there, and now we just need the blocks of iron. Blocks of steel, sorry. So let's go and grab that, and we are going to need 4 of those blocks. So I think that's probably the most that we can make anyway. And now we should be good for the 12 blocks that we need. Now, I think I'm going to potentially put this over here. I don't want to put it too far away from the power, but I certainly don't want to put it that side in case I want to make more water wheels. I think, yeah, we'll just put it here. So let's just pop this down for now. In fact, let's just grab some more slabs, because I don't like things just floating in midair, or at least looking like they're floating in midair. So that down like this. I'm a bit worried that's going to be a bit too close to the assembly table now, but if it is, we'll just sort that out as we go. And so this requires to be laid down in this way. I'm just going to jump up there and do the other bits, and that actually can spawn mobs, which is very unusual for machines, but we'll just put a torch on top. And as you can see, that's now turned into the multi-block structure because it's got these ports on here. So if we go in, that's now got the interface, and all we need to do is pop some power on there. So I am going to pop on the connector, and we'll just take some wire from there to there. Now hopefully, yep, that is now filling up with power. And all we're going to need to do then is grab some, I think it was obsidian that we required for this. The recipe for the pulverizer, let's just go back and remind ourselves. So it was the basic machine frame, which, as always, you've got to wait for this to scroll through. Yeah, so it was crushed obsidian. Now, got a little bit of a problem here that I still haven't made myself another bucket. So let's just see how much iron we've got. So we need 7 pieces. We need 7 pieces of that. So let's pop our 7 pieces in. Let's just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And while that is, why did I need 7 for? I only needed 3. While that is doing that, I will have a look at the carpenter, and we'll see what it takes to actually make that, because again, I'm fairly sure that can't be that difficult. Yep, so we're going to need some bronze, some bits of glass, and another one of these sturdy casings. I've got plenty of bronze, so we are going to need 4 of the gears. So I'm going to have to pop some of it back into the smeltery. So just remember to turn that switch off. And can't remember how many of these are required to make a gear, but let's just pop that in there for now. And just grab the rest of that bronze out actually. I'm not really sure how we managed to get 2 different types of bronze in there. So I think the one that's in here is thermal foundation, and the other is, what's that? Tinker's construct. Really not sure how that happened when it all went through the smeltery, but there we go, it did happen. And we only need 3 of the gears because I have another bronze gear in there already, so that's quite helpful. And we've got some glass, so let's just go and grab our plates now so that we can put a bucket together, and then we can get our obsidian while we're waiting for the bronze to smelt down. So pop that in there, grab that, beginning to fill up a little bit on inventory actually. So let's just lose some of these items that we don't need. So we've got quite a few capacitors now. Kind of wasted a few materials on those, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure that we're going to use those going forward. Right, so what we need is to grab some lava here, and we'll just pop that into the bucket, into the barrel, sorry. And why is that saying? It's really weird how it just doesn't want to go into there. That actually seems to have filled with water. I don't understand why that's doing that. How weird. Hang on a sec, let's just see. Can I now put that back over there? And we've got so there was actually water in the bucket, right? So let's ditch the water. Ditch it somewhere. I think, yeah, let's just put it in there for now. That's really weird. So if I go back to that now, has that still got water in it? No, it hasn't. Right, okay, excellent. So let's pop the lava in there and grab that bit of obsidian and do the same there. So we need 2 bits of that. I don't really know how that fell through there. Do you know what? On second thoughts, yes, I do. It's rained, and I bet what's happened is, despite the fact that I've balanced the water on top, I bet the rain's filled it up. Right. Enough of that. Let's get this show on the road. So we need a couple of bits of obsidian in there, and then that's going to give us our 2 bits of crushed obsidian. Wow, that was quite loud. Is that going to do the same thing again? Yes, it is. Oh, and we get some obsidian dust as well. Excellent. So, let's go and get our gears. So we want to take that out and put the gear cast in. Let's make sure we've got it in the hotbar. And yeah, I'm kind of hoping that's enough. I'm soon going to see. So we had 6 ingots. We might need to pop some more in there. In fact, we are going to need to pop some more in there. Right, I am just going to get this done and I'll be back. So, got all 4 gears, and yeah, I've just checked in the smeltery. So it's used it all. It hasn't left any of the outstanding nuggets like it's done in the past. So that seems to have evened itself out. If you make 3 gears, that uses an even number of ingots. So that's pretty cool. That is definitely something to remember. So we've got the rest of our bronze, and we're going to need that now to make this. So let's just pop that in, and we should just be able to get that straight away as well. Fantastic. So that is the Carpenter. Now, where am I going to put that? I think let's just pop the Carpenter here, and that's right near a PowerPoint as well. And how much does that? I don't think that's going to use a lot of power actually, because it's only got a fairly small buffer. Now, I'll be famous last words, and I haven't got any low voltage wire anyway. So let's take this wire from here. In fact, we need to put this on here anyway, and connect it to here. And that is now not filling up. Why is that not filling up? Okay, let's break that. Have we perhaps found something that you can't attach these bits onto? Let's see, can we attach it to... Can't attach it to there. We can to the top though, so let's see if that works. Here to here, and let's see if this is getting power. It is. Okay, so it had to be it had to be on top, which is a bit unfortunate because it doesn't actually connect up texture wise, but there we go. So that's our Carpenter, and now in order to get the bits that we need, just going to remind myself of the recipe. I think it was 3 bits of iron surrounded by redstone, but let's just go back into the pulverizer, and oh, I was nearly there. So this machine frame is not the one that I wanted. I've got to wait for it to scroll. I just find that really annoying when you have to wait for this to scroll through every time. There's probably an easy way to do it, but so basic circuit board is basically tin and 3 bits of redstone, and we are going to need one of those, and I must remember that we need the tin gear as well. We're going to be using the assembly table quite a bit to get all these bits done, and I have a feeling that at some point we are going to run out. We're certainly going to run out of tin if we don't smelt any up. I've got a feeling that we're going to run out of power quite quickly because the assembly table uses like 100,000. Let's just grab that. Uses 100,000 RF like per operation or something like that. So that is fairly annoying. Let's just pop that in there, and then we'll put that in the smeltery like so that can be doing what it needs to do, and then just remember to turn that back on so it automatically outputs that. So let's head on back over to the Carpenter and get this circuit. So we need to pop the piece of redstone. In fact, I don't even need that in there. I don't know why I did that. It's tin that I need. So tin, and then let's not make the same mistake that we made with the thermionic fabricator, whereby we didn't put the correct items in. And this is going to require something else as well. This is saying no matching recipe was found for the supplied resources. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's just go back again and just see what it was that it was asking for here. So we need to have, so the tin can be any of the tins, it seems, and then redstone down the side. We need to put some water in here as well. So that's fine. We'll go and grab a bucket of water. I'm kind of hoping that this is just as simple as that. So now, yeah, there we go. And that's quite speedy as well, which is all good. So we'll grab that out. And then the next thing that we're going to need for this is, we got that. We're going to need an iron chipset. So let's, where are we? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, should we perhaps link this up as well so that we're not messing around with that power wise. So what if we put a couple of those on there? I am going to need another one. Is that even going to work? I'm not convinced that it is, but yeah, let's just leave. I'm just going to leave the one powered up for now because we've got 100,000 RF in there, so we're going to get at least 2 operations, and then we can just actually see before I start making more wire whether or not that will work with this, because that, again, I know the Carpenter, it kind of floated above, but I expected that maybe to connect. Anyway, let's pop into the assembly table some of that and some of that, and we want to make ourselves an iron chipset. Let's just see how fast that's going to go up. Yeah, that's not too bad at all, actually. And then we are going to need, can make these other bits relatively quickly, but for the rest of this we need the iron chipset, the tin gear. Right, so we need to go and grab ourselves some of this steel. In fact, we've got some steel already there, so we just need to put one of those pieces in there, and that will form, hopefully that turns into the refined iron plate. Yeah, it does. So we've got that. So that's 3 of the bits that we need. Then we just need a tin gear, which is all easy stuff. So there's tin, and yeah, I am losing the plot because obviously we need to make that over here. So let's go and take that out, put that in, turn that off, and let's go and put some tin in here. So I think 3 pieces will be sufficient, and I'll be back when that has smelted. Okay, so we have our tin gear, and just before we go and throw that in fact, let's go throw it in an assembly table first. There's just then something that I want to show you that kind of worries me a little bit. So yeah, in order to get this, we're going to need that, we're going to need those 2, we need the refined iron plate, we need the tinned gear, and oh, there was one other item, and I can't for the life of me remember what that was now. Let's just quickly check it. And the iron, yeah, and the iron chipset. We need another iron chipset. Right, hold fire on that. Let's get ourselves another iron chipset, and that is on the go already. Right, so we're just waiting for that to fill up, and then we can bung the rest of the stuff on. And I'll go back to what I was talking about originally, which was when you go into the pulverizer, there's only one recipe for it, and that's the one here that says resonant. But then when you go in, you get the different recipes here. So yeah, so I'm a little bit concerned that we are, although it's showing that you can use these different, you can get the different types, I'm a little bit concerned that this isn't going to work, or maybe it's just that little bit of NEI is broken. I don't know. We're about to find out anyway. This could have been a waste of time today, but if we don't try it, we'll never know. And at least we know how to make basic machine frames. I honestly can't see that it would be that difficult. I think that's just something to do with NEI. So I think this is probably nearly done, which it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away. I'm going to wait until that's finished. Then I'm going to put all the other bits on and wait till it's finished again, because I suspect that's going to take quite a while. And when we come back, we'll see whether or not we can make this pulverizer come together. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we're back, and the basic machine frame is now done. And that didn't go without its hitches, because it wasn't just a single refined iron plate. We actually needed the compressed version, so it's called the dense iron plate. And yep, you guessed it, that required a new machine, because the compressors here won't work for that. So we needed to make the IC2 compressor. I did it off camera basically to save a bit of time, and because it's all simple stuff that you've seen before. So it's just another basic machine casing, another electronic circuit, and some smooth stone. And while I was waiting, I was getting together the other bits and pieces that we need for the pulverizer. So we needed a couple of copper gears, we needed a piston. We've got some flint already. I just need to grab some gold out of here so that we can make the reception coil, which is a bit of gold just there, 2 bits of redstone, and there we have that. And now we should, yeah, we've got all the bits. We should be able to put it together. And I've actually not picked up the gears, have I? I've left those down there. So let's just grab those as well. So now we've got the 2 gears. And what am I missing? 2 bits of flint. Now I'm kind of hoping. Yes, and that has worked. So there is the basic pulverizer. Now, I'm kind of going to put these over here. I've set up a little area ready. So that's where our thermal expansion stuff is going to go. Now, for now, what I'm going to do is, where is the power side of this? I think if we just put that there for now, and there's a squid swimming in midair. We need to grab some more of the wire. I'm just going to do some low voltage wire and just pull it directly from the water wheel for now, just to see if it works. So LV, there we go, LV wire. So it's just a treated stick with some copper. I should know these recipes off the top of my head by now, but for some strange reason I don't think we've got any electrum anywhere. It would be easier to make the other. No, we haven't. Right, let's just stick with the low voltage wire then. So some more bits of copper. Let's grab a piece of that from over here. 4 pieces of that. And pop those round like so. And there's our wire. And we'll just go and connect that up. Fingers crossed that that works. You cannot attach. Oh, that's because that's a medium voltage one. So I need to grab a low voltage one. Let's just grab that one for now, just for the sake of getting this done. I'll replace that in between episodes, obviously. In fact, I didn't even need to do that. It's late again, and this is what happens when I don't have enough sleep. Right, so why is that not going on? There we go, right. And try again to connect it up. Right, 1 and to here. And let's just see now. So that isn't actually getting any power yet. I wonder what I need to do to get the power in there. In fact, that needs to just be blank. No, it doesn't. Now, oh, that is it. There we go. That's now filling it with power. There was just a little bit of lag there for some reason for it to start filling it with power. And that's filling up quite quickly, so that's good. So now we've got another means of getting the various powders and that. What that's going to mean for us is that getting stuff like the Invar and Electrum, etc., is going to be a lot easier, because if we just look quickly in the recipe before we totally run out of time. So, is it spelled like that? Electrum? Yeah, it is. You can obviously do it in the Smeltery, but you can also use, if we can just find it, this blend here. So it's called Electrum Grit here, but I've also seen it called Electrum Blend in other packs. But basically, we just get some pulverized silver, some pulverized gold. You put those into a crafting table, and then that makes this grit. You can then put that grit directly into a furnace, and yeah, then that will make up the ingots. And you haven't then got to worry about switching this on or off or mixing it with other stuff. And it's all good. And I think you can put the powder directly into this anyway. So that is that. I think in the next episode then, what I'm going to try and do is make the induction furnace, because then that takes us another step forward. And I think that's going to be a fairly simple thing to do as well. So we're going to just another machine frame and a bit of Invar. and I'll have a think about what else we're going to do in that episode. But for now, that's it. If you've liked the video, please drop us a like, and until next time, take care. Bye.